Hey everybody, today we're going to replace the Serpentine belt on the 2011 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. It looks like we're going to need a nice size straight edge screwdriver, a 17 millimeter combination wrench. For all you guys that don't know, that's one side is a crescent, the other side is a closed box end, and it's offset, so it has like a different curve to it, which comes in handy because we're working in a tight space. Also, we need a 22 millimeter half-inch socket because we're going to eventually turn the crank with it. And what we're going to do, well, usually what we do is we use something called a bump starter, as you see there. And that's just two wires attached to the starter, and we actually bump the starter instead of having to turn the crank manually. In this particular vehicle, we don't have a starter. So in order to get the stretch belt off, which is on the left, and from the crankshaft, which is the wheel in the middle, what we're going to actually do, because I don't want to cut it off, I want to actually take it off because I'm going to reuse it in this case. What we're going to do is we're going to turn that middle crankshaft with a 22 millimeter socket. I use a socket because it seemed like that worked better. You know, maybe open end or a combination 22 will work better for you. Whatever works for you, works for you. That's what I use. So anyway, on the vehicle, you have to put it in neutral. It's a hybrid, you know. That's pretty easy to do. And we're going to lift, the idea is to lift the entire front of the vehicle up. Reason being, we have to turn the crank so the wheels have to be off the ground in neutral so we can do that. So then we take off all the plastic on the inside of the wheel well, which it's being held in by 10 millimeter bolts, but it's quite a few bolts, so keep that in mind. And then you kind of curl it out the way. Make sure you put a jack stand underneath so that the vehicle doesn't fall on you, because you're going to be under the vehicle wrestling with this thing. It's limited space that we're working with. Also, I suggest, because there's an inverter cooler, as you see with the arrow, there's a hose that goes to that water pump nestled in the corner there. I suggest you take that hose off also. So it makes it easier to access the slim portion of the wheel well where the actual belt is located. And to do this, you're going to be working honestly from the side of the vehicle and from the top of the vehicle. And there's some videos out there. Zip ties do work, you know, to actually hold the wrench, you know, in place while you wrestle with the belt to get the belt off. So like I said, I eventually got that stretch belt off, and it was a great call because the stretch belt was $40. I like original equipment parts, and I didn't need a new stretch belt, so I'm glad I didn't replace the stretch belt. When I examined it, it was in great shape, and the Serpentine belt definitely had to be replaced. It's so crucial on a hybrid motor because it actually turns or actuates the starter generator, which is what turns the motor on and off as you're going down the road, and it saves gas. That's how it actually saves gas. The electric motor runs the car from time to time, so the gas motor is constantly going on and off. So it was a good call. Everything turned out fine. Totally satisfied with it. Now there's a video out there that shows how to replace the Serpentine belt on this particular motor, and you don't have to pay $400 in the dealership. Once again, is what they were asking, to do something that really wasn't that complicated, but it just took a little thought process to figure out how to do it on this newer hybrid motor. And I hope this video helps somebody.